Hey you guys, so today's video is going to be a tutorial and I'm going to show you guys steps in building your own boss team on hard difficulty. This is specifically for the transition from easy mode or medium mode to hard mode because a lot of you guys are struggling since it is difficult. It is a big step when the EVs all change and the Pokemon get stronger and they change their items and they have like more status moves. So this is going to be a stepwise tutorial on how to build a basic team based on my experience and the way that I find more reliable. There are different ways and many ways to build your own team, but this is just one that I use. So this isn't really something that you have to follow, it's just something that I thought would make it easier for a lot of you guys. If you guys do follow my tutorials and my boss videos, you'll know that I do follow this specific kind of strategy. And it consists of 4 steps. We're going to talk about them each individually in full detail so you guys have a better understanding on each topic. Alrighty, with that being said, our first step in building a boss team is going to be debuffing the enemy team. So this is usually the first or second Pokemon that comes into the enemy team. Most of the time I go for the first Pokemon unless it has a move like Taunt or some buffing move like Dragon Dance or anything like that, but in general the first Pokemon is the one that we're going to debuff, okay? So the first thing we need to look at, and I highly recommend that you do this, is that you go to Pro Wiki or any type of guide to see what moves the first Pokemon on his team has, or determine whether or not this is a special attacker or a physical attacker Pokemon, because this is very important when you're going to debuff. And you'd be surprised, like you don't want to go into a battle blindly when you don't need to, and there are guides that help out there that show you the moveset, especially on hard mode and you have to wait like a ridiculous amount of time for the cooldown. And sometimes they're mixed attackers, so they'll have special attacks and physical attacks in the same moveset, and you'd be like shocked, like what? I just got hit by a physical attack and I was expecting this to be a special attacker. Alright, so there are 2 types of debuffing. You can either debuff by using moves like Eerie Impulse that Electrode or Ampharos has, and those are like the most common special attack debuffs that I use in my teams. Or you can use like Feathery Dance by Pidgeot, or of course Memento from Whimsicott. You guys have seen me use that a lot. And there are Pokemon that have abilities like Prankster, which include Klefki and Whimsicott that I use very often, who have priority for status moves. So you can use Screens that temporarily raise your stats, and also you can debuff by paralyzing the foe. Right, so it's important to always choose Pokemon that have multiple utilizations and multiple moves that you're going to benefit from. Because you guys know that we only have 6 slots in our team for Pokemon that we need, so we want to have Pokemon that can do more than one thing at the same time. That's why I like using Klefki and Whimsicott so much, because they have like at least 2 moves that I'm going to be utilizing. Another way you can debuff that I feel like is very, very underrated is by abilities. By Pokemon who are usually low tier, and you guys would be surprised, they're very, very useful, such as Gyarados and Arcanine. Like you guys know already that I use an Impish Gyarados in some of my boss videos, and it's very helpful. You can swap in and out and reduce the foe's attack multiple times just by swapping with the Intimidate ability. Right, so now we're going to step 2, which is hazards, and this step is often overlooked, and we don't really realize how important and how much easier this makes our life when we're doing any sort of boss battle. So the hazards include Toxic Spikes, Spikes, and Stealth Rock. I usually use Spikes and Stealth Rock. It's definitely better to use at least Spikes and Stealth Rock in case a Pokemon is immune to one of them. But you know, sometimes I get lazy, so I just use one or the other. And this is important because a lot of boss Pokemon have Focus Sash, and then they'll surprise you by like a move like Endeavor or something like that, and then your Pokemon that you spent so long buffing is at 1 HP and ends up dying. So you want to put up a hazard, at least one, just to get rid of the Focus Sash. It really helps more than you guys may think. Right, so now let's get to step 3, and it is buffing our Pokemon. So you get to choose whatever Pokemon you want to do, and this depends. Like a lot of people like using Baton Pass to buff a specific Pokemon on their team. Or you can use a hyper offensive buffer such as Volcarona, which is very common. Or my personal favorite is buffing a tank, like Clefable or Snorlax usually, or Slowbro. So at this point it really just takes a lot of spamming of your abilities until you get the full times 6 buff on whatever stat you are trying to get up. And then we go to the next step, which is our favorite step, and that is sweeping the enemy team. Right, so far you guys have noticed, like, all of these steps can be really summarized into like 3 Pokemon max, in my opinion. Like, you need 3 Pokemon to beat any boss usually. But you're always gonna have to keep at least 1 or 2 Pokemon in your team, just in case something goes wrong, because you never know. Like, maybe you'll stack up all these buffs on your 1 Pokemon, and then it gets crit, which happens quite often with bosses, and then it ends up fainting. So you want to keep at least 1 or 2 Pokemon with you in case something goes wrong, usually with priority moves. I usually pick Pokemon with priority moves like Azumarill with Aqua Jet and Choice Band, or Dragonite with Extreme Speed. Or you can have Pokemon that are stallers that also have different utilizations like Chansey with Toxic, Soft Build, and Stealth Rock. Or I love using Umbreon, you guys know that. You've seen me use it in like a lot of my videos. Okay, so that pretty much sums up the steps in building a boss team. If you guys liked the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe, you know, leave a comment. I love reading your comments. I try replying to every single one of them because they're super cute and you guys are awesome. So do that if you want to, and I will see you guys in the next video. Also, if you guys have like any ideas like what you guys want a new tutorial on, because a lot of people were asking me questions about this, so I might as well like make a video on it. You know, DM me, leave a comment, anything you want. And I will see you guys next time.